Hello everybody and welcome back to another exciting episode of watching other people's videos. Last time we have finished up watching Roxas1359's playthrough of Crash Twinsanity. This time, actually being really wanting to get to this, watching this blind, finally, is Aquaman Battle for Atlantis. As you can clearly tell, it's going to be the GameCube version. I think before we start, I want to... You know what, it's a fairly short video. I'll just let him go with it. Why not? 720p. Yep. I think I was going to say something else in Crash Twinsanity after it was, finished, but I think maybe I've forgotten or just slipped my mind, but whatever it may be, it probably wasn't too important anyway. I think I've gotten at least the important stuff out of the way. Anyway, let's begin watching this video. Ah, that fun introduction. TDK. Is that Media Active? Trademark. And also that little R symbol there. Lucky Chicken Games. DC. With 4 stars. A blue and white.
So, instead of going to Comic-Con to, experience all the comic books and the new things, I decided to stay at home and play a shitty video game. This seems like the short end of the stick. Hello everyone, this is Roxas1359, and welcome to my newest Let's Play of Aquaman Battle for Atlantis! Aquaman Battle for Atlantis was created and developed by Lucky Chicken Games of Battle Tanks fame for the Game Boy Color. Okay, maybe that's not fair. Maybe you know them from Casper, Spirit Dimensions, or, Tonka, Rescue Patrol. Those also fun games. It was published for the Nintendo GameCube and for the Xbox in 2003 by TDK Mediactive, Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, and endorsed by DC Comics. What game did we get for this in the end? What is considered, honestly, one of the worst games of all time.
He's not kidding, actually.
Joking. This game is often described as Superman 64 for the Nintendo GameCube.
Even though there was also an Xbox version published, for some reason, why is it described as only for the GameCube? I mean, I get it. I get it. Superman 64 was, published on the Nintendo 64, but technically speaking, it also got an Xbox version, so, just saying.
What is with Nintendo and tracking these Superman 64 for the Nintendo GameCube? What is with Nintendo and tracking these terrible, terrible ports for these heroes? Now, Aquaman already gets shat on by everyone, and that starts back because of the whole Super Friends thing. That Super Friends stink is never going to go away. Personally, for me, I'm not the biggest Aquaman fan, so I'm not going to judge it based on how comics are or anything, because I don't really read Aquaman. In fact, I'm not really the biggest of a DC person. I'm honestly more of a Marvel person. So already, I've got bias going into this.
Well, that's fun. Not really.
But this game has so many terrible design choices and so many things that it does wrong.
Sorry, I only got the giggles.
You have to question why this got the Nintendo quality seal of approval. It was the 6th generation that I started seeing that seal, and I started, saying bullshit. Because you know what other games have this seal on them? Fucking Sonic Genesis on the Game Boy Advance, and Spyro Enter the Dragonfly.
He's not lying, actually.
Yeah, this seal means shit.
Well, maybe over time it got better with their practices, at least. I mean, seriously, let me think, how early did they start putting those seals on there?
It means absolute shit. In the past it used to be something good. So, I'm not going to begin right away. How am I going to be doing this? Well, we have a few different options on here. As I'm scrolling through this, you're probably wondering, while you're doing this, hey, how come my analog stick is not working? Why is my controller broken? No, ladies.
No, I actually wasn't wondering that because I couldn't tell. I couldn't hear it on my computer.
Gentlemen,
Or you were expecting me to hear it, but I don't think it's going through your microphone or whatever you're using at that set time.
every menu in this game, every menu in... Controller broken? No, ladies and gentlemen, every menu in this game is only movable by the D-pad. The tiny little D-pad the GameCube controller had, which is probably one of the two bad things that are about the GameCube controller, besides clicking. Yes.
I don't mind the clicking, honestly.
Every single menu in this
Or the D-pad too much.
game is controlled via the D-pad only. So this is already going to be fun. So, let's see in the new game, we have our characters we can play as. Ooh, we can play as different characters. We can play as Aquaman. Not unlocked. Not unlocked. Not unlocked. And Aquaman! I wonder who I'm going to be playing this as. And there are difficulties. There is normal, and easy, and normal, and easy. I'm going to be doing this on normal difficulty, and playing as Aquaman throughout the entire adventure. Pretty much for this game, I don't really know how much to describe it. I will tell you this. I legitimately tried to do a practice file for this game. I legitimately tried. I have never played a game in my life that is so boring, so dull, that I could not do any commentary over this.
Ironically, your commentary is the most hilarious in this game. That's the ironic part, because you're just not holding back, are you?
Do not be surprised if over a majority of this project is the commentary with someone else, because by God, you need stuff to talk about for it. And it would help if I probably knew more about Aquaman. I mean, I know more or less certain things about Aquaman, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, like, the entire mythos or anything. So that would probably disappoint me more if I did, in all honesty, because then I'd see how terrible this game really is on another level. So that would probably disappoint me, Aquaman, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, like, the entire mythos or anything. So that would probably disappoint me more if I did, in all honesty, because then I'd see how terrible this game really is on another level. Now, based on the Aquaman, as I'm probably going to put a picture of him on screen, I can't tell what Aquaman they were going with. I think they were trying to go with some sort of hybrid for, you know, these...
Upon doing research, the Aquaman in this game looks more like the Aquaman from Peter David's Aquaman comics from 1994.
The animated universes one? So versus one, the animated, you know, DC of hybrid for, you know, DC animated universes one? Sort of like how Superman was based on the DC animated universe one, but doesn't really look like him. He's a little bit more muscly and a little bit more xenophobic. Well, then again, we don't really see that much else in this game, but oh well. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna end it off right here. Roxas1359, welcome to Let's Play Aquaman Battle for Atlantis. Next time, we're gonna actually be doing some of the missions in this game, and I'm gonna be trying to find stuff to talk about while doing it. So, see you guys next time.
The irony is, well, let me start by saying, well, not ironically, but it's just that this is probably why I wanted to try and watch this playthrough blind. He's just so funny. Seriously, and this is just the intro. He was just so funny, I just didn't want to spoil myself any further after watching a bit of the next video. He was just so funny. I couldn't help it. I am a bit of both DC and Marvel myself, and I see an online show talking about bad comics from both sides. I know a lot more of DC than Marvel, and saw all the Marvel movies and liked them. Oh, has anyone saw Robot Chicken DC specials? Loved it! I get that, this isn't a college paper, but it would kind of help if some people were better with their sentence structure. Just saying. I mean, it helps be more clear and understanding and less likely to misinterpret what you're saying. So is this worse than Superman 64 or not as bad? This is most commonly referred to as Superman 64 for the GameCube, so just about as bad. Seriously, I put a comma before that, but that's just before the end of air quote, but that's just me. Does it have the same gameplay? Similar, but it's more controllable, and I've not encountered underwater rings yet, although I have encountered massive amounts of underwater kryptonite fog. So Superman 64 on the GameCube and with Aquaman instead of Superman. So it's Aquaman No, that wasn't right. It was Aquaman 64. I never cared much about Aquaman. Sorry, fans. Well, at least he's being honest. Anyway, they made a game about Aquaman? Okay then, whatever. Why? He whispers. Alright, now let's get into the Wikipedia article, because, well, not starting there. Other Superman, Aquaman, Battle. Well, there's this little thing about Aquaman. Anyway, Aquaman Battle for Atlantis is a console video game for the Xbox and Nintendo GameCube systems based on the DC Comics character Aquaman. It was developed by Lucky Chicken Studios and published by TDK. It is based on Peter Davids' controversial interpretation of the comic book character.
But
yeah, actually, that's good research right there. It is actually based. That's some nifty cover artwork, though, I will not lie. That does look kind of nice. But anyway, there was apparently supposed to be a PlayStation 2 version, but was cancelled, making it probably one of the very few PlayStation 2 games to get cancelled, because normally I see the Nintendo GameCube getting more cancelled than the PlayStation 2. Then again, it's probably not the best. Also, apparently, according to these scores, it doesn't seem like either particular version was much better than the other, it seems. Anyway, plot. No spoilers anyway. After a long absence and being presumed dead, Aquaman's mortal enemy, Black Manta, has returned, bringing with him waves upon waves of dedicated warriors. Manta intends to terrorize and ultimately destroy Aquaman's kingdom of Atlantis in order to protect his subjects and the rest of the Seven Seas from Manta's evil machinations. I don't know how to pronounce that. Machinations. Aquaman must venture into his city, save his people, and defeat Black Manta. Little does he know, however, that there is an even greater enemy awaiting. That's in blue, because it will lead you to another character who will attempt to take the throne of Atlantis right out from under him. Production. In October of 2001, TDK Mediaactive announced that it had reached a long-term deal with DC Comics to produce video games based on the Aquaman character, starting with the newly released platforms of the 6th console generation. The announcement specified that the game would be created on multiple platforms, and that the first game would likely see release sometime in 2012. 2002, my bad. I was glancing. Lucky Chicken Games was chosen as the development studio for the game and would come to be titled Aquaman Battle for Atlantis, and the game was scheduled for release in mid-2003. The release of the game coincided with a newly launching volume of the Aquaman ongoing series from DC Comics, which also debuted in 2003 with a Number 1 issue. A PS2 port of the game was to be released, but was later cancelled due to poor sales from the GameCube and Xbox ports. I guess. Shocker. Then again, there have been some bad games that sold relatively well. Ironically, Superman 64 sold relatively well, being the third best selling Nintendo 64 game. So, yeah. So that might be one thing that this game doesn't have in common with Superman 64, and that's sales. Anyway, the purpose of the game is to save Atlantis from doom. The story is told by cutscenes that do not use animation or voices. Instead, it is told by text that accompanies pictures, like a comic book. The player progresses by swimming around the level and defeating the enemies there. The levels are filled with empty, ruined buildings that Aquaman sometimes has to swim around. When Aquaman fights, he can punch, kick, and grapple with the opponents to defeat them. There are also times throughout the game where the player can pilot crafts through the water and shoot down enemy submarines. Let's hear a little bit of Lucky Chicken Games. Lucky Chicken Games is an American video game developer founded in 1998 by Jamie Attalili, Matt Sia, and Jonathan Hillard. It was purchased by mobile game publisher Abandon Mobile in 2005 and became the production and development operation of the mobile game company. Although Lucky Chicken Games no longer exists as a distinct entity, some of Abandon Mobile's internally developed games credit Lucky Chicken Games as the developer, as do games developed by Abandon Mobile for other publishers. Battle Tanks, yeah. Let's hear that again.
Aquaman Battle Tanks fame. Aquaman Battle for Atlantis was created and developed by Lucky Chicken Games of Battle Tanks fame. For the Game Boy Color.
Yep.
Okay, maybe that's not fair. Maybe you know them from Casper, Spirit Dimensions.
Yep.
Or, Tonka, Rescue Patrol.
Yep.
Also fun games.
That's actually rather correct. And not just because Battle Tanks, Casper, Tonka... Some of these didn't even get a Wikipedia article, as you can tell. Like this, for example. Wikipedia does not have an exact name. Yeah, I don't think there is an article for it. Nope. Blah 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay then. So, yeah. So that's that. It's kind of rare. It's one of those few games that didn't get a PS2 port, yet it got others. Because from what I've seen, it's usually the GameCube version that gets cancelled. Ergo, like, for example, Crash Twinsanity, which interestingly, I think the GameCube was the very first version of the game that was supposed to be developed, but for some reason was cancelled. I think I saw... If you noticed in the links I published, you might notice in Crash Twinsanity of that Wikia, I think it's somewhere in there. Yeah, I know it's somewhere in there. Ironically, it was the first one to be published, but apparently it was to be developed, but for some reason it was the first one to be cancelled. I have no idea why. And unsurprisingly, other bad superhero games like Batman, Dark Tomorrow, and such are around here. But I think that's enough for this little video right here. Not really much here, particularly speaking. I mean, it doesn't seem like really either version of the game was received very well, particularly, but I'm still somewhat surprised. It's not often to see a PS2 game get cancelled. Usually, more likely, it would be a GameCube would be the most likely one from what I've seen, but I've said that before already. But I guess it had a fair reason, I guess. Poor sales and such, so, yeah. Still, it doesn't explain why Twinsanity kinda canceled the GameCube port. It was not exactly the most clear. I mean, Roxas1359 did, in his playthrough, did say like 2 ideas, but, still disappointed he never got a GameCube port. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, it's pretty much a well-respected game at this point, and holds up really well, and I don't think too many people would mind it being, like, at least a HD skin on it, so to speak. But, whatever. I don't think they would have really minded, because some say the graphics hold up pretty well even to this day. But anyway, enough of me going on and on. Like added to like the videos. And yeah, this is a short video. Well, it's not going to be as short as 5 minutes and 33 seconds, but whatever. So I thank you all for watching, and see you next time for more of watching Aquaman Battle for Atlantis. So see you.